Hi, I'm Carolyn Yates with Caldwell Banker Realty, and I help people relocate to Florida. And I get a lot of questions from people moving from out of state, and they have a lot of concerns about certain things or just curious about other things. So I thought I'd try to answer some of those questions or dispel some of those myths. Everyone is concerned about gators, and yes, we do have alligators in Florida. This is their natural habitat. You'll see them in the rivers and the ponds and the lakes. You will not see them as often in the brackish or saltwater. So I live off the intercoastal. Rarely do I see a gator near where I live. I think in 5 years, I've heard of or seen twice a gator in the marina where I live. So it's just not common. But in the rivers and lakes and ponds, yes, you definitely need to expect them to be there. That is where they live, and you leave them alone, they will probably leave you alone. We don't have them wandering the streets. I know you all see these videos or these posts. Golf courses are common because you do have ponds on golf courses, so you will sometimes see them on golf courses. I'm not a golfer, but I've seen the videos myself. But again, they're just not out roaming the street. It's not common for them to be present around town. Again, I go quite long stretches without even seeing one. So I do enjoy them when I see them, and I keep my distance and I leave them alone and they leave me alone. Another concern I get is about the heat, and it's Florida, it is hot. I totally get it. And I grew up in the state, and I have to say, after not living here for a number of years, I was concerned about moving back myself because of the heat. Could I handle the summers? But you just kind of learn to work around it, and you go out early in the morning or you go out late at night. Late at night, I'd say, yeah, early evening. The afternoons can be warm for sure. Clothing is a big deal. You want to wear dry fit clothing. You don't want cotton, you don't want heavy denim, you want loose and flowing. Think workout material, like what wicks the sweat away. That's what you want. And you also want to take advantage of the pool, the Gulf water. You want to go swimming and probably not be out during the heat of the day, for sure. It is hot, there's no lie, but as someone once said to me, you know, every place has one season that isn't desirable, and I get it, that Florida's is definitely summer, would be the least desirable, but there's also, you know, some positives to it. I mean, I do like heat in my summer, maybe because I did grow up here, but it is nice to have it hot when you want to get in the pool or, you know, swim in the Gulf. You don't want it chilly, so you don't want to be out doing all the water activities when it's cold. It is summer here and it does get hot. Rarely do we hit 100 or even the high 90s. Now it may feel warm, but the actual temperature is generally closer to the low 90s in the summer. We're in September now, and our temperatures are more in the 80s, but we've had rain, so the rain of course keeps the temperatures down. But in the summer, you know, it can feel, they'll say like 110, 111. It can get hot, so definitely you want to stay indoors. You want that AC, and just pick your times when you go outside when it's not as hot, or get in the pool. It'll cool you off. Anyway, that's summer in Florida. Another question that I get asked a lot about are hurricanes. And yes, we do have hurricanes. It is Florida. Hurricane season runs from June through the end of November. And it's just part of living on the Gulf Coast. None of us like the storms, but you do get a lot of notice, and you can certainly evacuate, which if they call for you to evacuate, I highly recommend. I'm not one to stick around for a storm myself. It's just not pleasant, even if they don't ask you to evacuate. It's a lot of rain and wind, and I'd rather be somewhere where the weather's not quite as fierce. Generally, what you can expect if you do get a hit by the storm, which we had to last year, is you're gonna maybe have a loss of power. You're gonna probably have a lot of yard debris down, which is gonna take a little bit to clean up. The worst we had were some soffits that came off of our home. You know, homes are built here to pretty strict building code, and they sustain the storms fairly well. While there are some homes that were devastated, and I'm not trying to minimize that because it does happen, but by and large, that's not what you see for every house driving around town. You know, typically what we have here, you may lose a couple of shingles, you may get a screen out of your pool, but Again, I'm right on the intercoastal. I'm a mile from the Gulf. I'm pretty close to where the storms come in. And once you get inland, they dissipate quickly. Again, you get a lot of notice. I recommend evacuating if it's a big storm, and just rather be safe than sorry, right? Again, I'm Carolyn Yates with Coldwell Banker Realty. I do help people relocate from other states. I'm glad to answer their questions, dispel some of the myths. And if you have questions yourself you want me to answer, I'd love to answer them for you. So feel free to drop them in the comments or reach out, and would love to share my knowledge about Florida and what an amazing place it is to live.